So, keeping up with today's theme of talking about self-defense and ambushes, and I mentioned some mass shooting. I was like, you know what? I want to talk about the Uvalde school shooting and what mistakes I've noticed that that other people have not mentioned, and just a couple of my 2 cents that I want to share. And I'm gonna react a little bit to this news clip.
11:33 a.m. An 18-year-old with an AR-15 is in the school. He turns a corner, walks toward a classroom. A little boy peers down the hallway, and moments later, the rapid fire of bullets. By 11:36, police are there.
Man, that's a lucky kid. He's so lucky.
Guns drawn, bulletproof vests on. They run toward the shots. But within a minute, they come under fire. Grazed by bullets, they retreat.
Grazed by bullets. He was not grazed.
Here's a sped up time lapse of what's next. For 44 minutes, more officers, more equipment. At 12:21, more than 10 of those officers, some with rifles and shields visible, fall into line. They approach the classroom, but still don't go in for 28 more minutes. Another sped up time lapse until 12:50 p.m. 77 minutes after that shooter first walked into this hallway, police took him out.
It's difficult to watch.
James Hawthorne is the chief of police for Cedar Hill ISD, a veteran officer. He says the surveillance clearly shows police not doing what they're trained to do. Watching this, hearing this, is gut-wrenching.
That video needs to be released.
But even the governor said Texans deserve to see what law enforcement itself calls a law enforcement failure.
And it's dangerous, it's hazardous. There's a possibility that people could be injured, you could possibly lose your life, but we know that when we sign up to do this job.
There is one moment we want to show you that some of the victims' family members say makes them particularly angry. At 12:30, the gunman had been in that school almost an hour, and it would be another 20 minutes before he was shot and killed. One of the law enforcement officers stops and uses the hand sanitizer in the hallway. You see the image of that happening right there. Family members ask how someone had time to sanitize their hands, but not time to save their loved ones' lives.
Oh man. I almost want to say maybe the guy was nervous or something, just trying to keep himself calm. But man, that's embarrassing. A couple of mistakes that I've noticed. There was a moment when they just assume that the door is locked, and the door's not locked, but they assume that it's locked and they need a tool. And that kind of reminds me of when I was in college, and when we show up to the classroom, and everybody would be standing outside the classroom, assuming that the door was locked because it was closed and the lights were off. And every time I would showed up, because this happened multiple times, I would check for myself, because I don't trust that everybody else who showed up there that it's locked. So I would just show up and was like, oh, it's not locked, and open it. People just assume that in that scenario that the door was locked because they saw a bunch of people outside. It's like, oh, it must be locked. Somebody must have checked it, And in this college scenario, that's usually what happens. If you already see a bunch of people outside, everyone assumes somebody must have already checked it. Me, I don't. At the same time, I just, even if somebody did do it, I just like to check for myself, And I saw this and here, everybody. There was a scenario where one police officer mentions that they're looking for something to open the door. I guess the officers who came in later on just assumed that the officers that were there first have already checked that the door was locked, you know. So it's just something I noticed. But even if it was locked, man, that's where you have all that ammunition, man. You could break that, shoot that door down, you know. Also, just a couple tips, you know. Honestly, you know, we all want to live, you know. Nobody wants to go to work and die. And one thing they could have done is having eyes on target. It's really helpful if you know where the shooter is at. You know, they could have had somebody outside looking in. First of all, they all have radios, right? They could have had someone outside looking through the windows and giving brilliant information to the guys in the hallway. Hey, he's in this room. He's standing X 20 feet from the door. Blah blah blah. He's facing this direction. Go ahead, move in, or vice versa. I could distract him from this area. You could hit him from multiple angles. He can't cover everywhere. You know, you have him surrounded. Use that to your ability. You know. But really, this is just a failure in leadership. Nobody took charge. You know, you have so many different units. You have a lot of again, like I speak about the George Floyd case earlier today. I spoke about how the rank structure in law enforcement. Some people might want to do something, but they're waiting for a superior to say something. You know, because it's all about leadership. You don't really act into in certain scenarios until a superior tells you to. So I understand that for some of the officers, why they didn't do anything, because they're waiting for a superior. If you have a bunch of superiors in there, way higher ranking than you're really powerless. You're waiting for orders, you know. So to them, I kind of don't blame them, because I know the system. You know, even if they wanted to do something, they're like, "Hey, soldier," or not like, and not soldier, because these are officers. Hey, I don't know what they call lower rank officers, but hey, you know, stay in your lane. You know, watch, wait, we're handling it. You know, and so I understand that case, but it should have never even been up to that situation, man. The first people in there should have taken care of business. You know, you have body armor, you have numbers on your side, you have training, you have like I said, you don't really have the element of surprise because he knows you're coming, but still, like you have numbers. He might shoot one of you, but again, you have armor. He might shoot one of you. He might shoot a couple of you, but he ain't gonna get you all. You know. That like I said, this was a disgrace. I might do the Parkland video, because I got some thoughts on the Parkland video too. But yeah, and then to spend almost an hour there, they could have saved so many people that were murdered because they were too unorganized, they were cowardly. I know there was one officer that his old lady was in there. Again, back to the topic I brought up earlier of Kaylee Anthony about no justice. That she had nobody trying to get justice for her. And I'm thinking sometimes I hear family members that they're all about, hey, you know what? If something happens to my family member, you know. You ain't no holding me back. Here you got a case. There's a guy. His old lady's in there, you know, and he's staying behind. I was like, you know, I would like to think that again, if I had a family member somewhere, I'm move out my way, you know. I don't give a damn. I have that mindset already. It's built in it, ingrained. I tell myself that it's gonna happen. Like I'm mentally prepared for this already. That I'm ready to throw down when if stuff hits the fan, And there's been situations in my life that stuff like that happened, and I want to say I've been tried and tested. This is as much as I can say. So, but not everybody's the same. Some people, they don't know how to act when the pressure hits. And you would expect law enforcement to know how to act, but again, it's a lack of training, freaking a lack of leadership. Just so many errors left and right. And nowadays, you have to think, well, what are you going to do in the future to prevent something like this? Because again, you can't really, in all likelihood, it's going to happen again. After Columbine, they thought, okay, it won't happen like this again because law enforcement they'll take care of business. But nah, I mean, every time they show up, they really don't show up like Parkland again. They're there, but not really, Here, they show up again, but not really. So it keeps failing, and for many reasons, like it's gonna continue to fail, primarily because we all want to live. It's one thing to say this, like here I'm in the comfort of my office, but when it's real life, and it's the bullets are flying, it's a whole different scenario, and the majority of people are not about it. Just being honest, they like to think they're about it, that if stuff went down, that they would be ready, that they would take action. But honestly, especially if you really, really love life, like you're not gonna risk it. You're gonna cower. And I'm not judging you or judging anyone. I mean, because it's just human nature. We want to live. This is we get one life. And you really got to think about it. What would cause a person to say that I'm willing to risk it for X, Y, and Z? I understand, like, these people, a lot of these officers, they didn't want to risk it because, again, I mean, it ain't their kids, it ain't their loved ones. Well, even if there was, they had that one guy, it was his loved one. And even then, I mean, his life is just, it's more important than the victims, And I would think that the majority of people have the same mindset. The average citizen pretty much has the same mindset that they're not going to do something for a stranger, and they might not even do something for a loved one. Look, I'll give you this example. There's a lot of fake love, like how people say, I support the troops. We support the troops. What do you do? I mean, and I'm not speaking about the government. What do you do for the troops? If you really support them, how come we have still mass self-deletion? I can't say that the word because of YouTube will mess with it. But we have that. We have poverty. We have mass homelessness with veterans, unemployment. There's all this problem, but it's all about, we support them. It's just talk, right? When we say thoughts and prayers, that's nothing. It doesn't really. There's no effort, and we say we love our families, and we're willing to fight for them, but most of us wouldn't even help out a family member on little tasks, on minuscule tasks. I'll give you some examples, just some personal examples. I do favors for people all the time, you know, all the time. I got tired of doing so many favors that one day in one day, 3 different people asked me for texted me for a favor. One person asked me if I could take take the dogs to the vet, and because they were big dogs. I was like, okay, I got you, and I have a truck, so I was like, okay, I can put them in the truck. Another person, at the same time, I'm doing this favor for the dogs. Another person asked me for some money, and another person asked me for a favor. It was 2 females. Both of them texted me almost the same thing, word for word, saying, I need a huge favor. And so I replied to one, and she goes, hey, I need some, I need you to bail me out. I need a huge loan. And it was too much. I couldn't help that person out. It was like, it was out of my capabilities. And the other person said, I also need a huge favor. But on her, I just replied, nah, no. And that was just a weird reply. I just thought, no, I'm done with favors. You know, I'm too busy doing things left and right. And what I want to say is, I've done favors for people all the time. People need a ride for work. People need they need money to eat something. They didn't bring. We went to work. They didn't have money to eat. I'm like, oh yeah, I got you, man. I'll get you back. Never happens. Like I said, I've helped people with home remodeling projects, with you name it, man. Moving furniture. Again, having a truck, man, you get called all the time. You know, just simple things, you know, manual labor things. And yet, I ask a lot of people for, I never ask for anything. But when I do ask, I make it super easy, you know. I ask people, hey man, you mind subscribing to my YouTube channel? Hey, you mind just hit some likes, you know. I'm not even asking for you to watch my channel. You don't even have to watch any of this. Just give me a couple of likes, because it'll help with the algorithm, you know. Because when you first starting off, it sucks, you know. I don't get any views, I don't get any likes, and it doesn't. Any little help in the beginning helps push the algorithm to make this more. I want to make this into a job. Something simple like this, you think people would help me? Again, it takes like a few seconds, especially if you already have a YouTube account. So it's not even something that I'm asking you to bend over backwards. It's, oh yeah, like watch, boom, 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 like, boom, done. You can do it while you're in the toilet. Do people do it? No, obviously. I mean, I look at my videos every day. Usually no views or 1 view, and that's usually those are me. I always have to double check to make sure that things were uploaded correctly. And so people don't do even the minimum, you know. So you're asking somebody to give their life over here. Strangers, it's not gonna happen, you know, for the most part. It's that, and this is why every time there's gonna be another one of these Uvalde shootings or Parkland or any kind of school shooting, you should expect that people are gonna prioritize their lives over everybody else, which understandable. And we're gonna get the same results over and over and over. So I don't know what the solution of this is. I honestly don't know how. I have some suggestions. Like I said, better training. So you have the mentality that when you are conducting business, that you're trained to a point that you think you actually have a great fighting chance, you know. So maybe that. And also, some of these officers were not fit, man. The body armor barely covered them. That's a huge problem. You know, it'd be nice if we had more fit standards. You know, standards of having people healthier. Maybe, I don't know. That and I always thought that a couple of things that I thought too. I'm gonna mention it here, and I'll mention it in a Parkland video that I'm gonna do next. Is that Overwatch? It's a great thing, and what I mean is, so we have cameras in schools. Most schools nowadays have cameras. There should be a system where police can access those cameras immediately, either on their phones or have something set up. So if a shooter does come in, somebody has eyes on that shooter at all times. You know, there could be cameras in the classrooms, in the hallways, whatnot. They have eyes on the shooter, and they're relaying that information to everyone around them, so they know they have eyes on target. It helps you out so much. This is what I did in the military. I was with ISR, which is intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance. I would work with UAVs, mainly predators, drones, and I would work with Overwatch. Basically, if we were gonna go into an area, we're watching the troops ahead of troop movement, around them, you know, looking for having their eyes on their backs and all around, you know, and it just gives you that ease of mind that, especially when you find a target, it's like it's a game changer. Like I said, it's all about the game changer, and this is something that schools can implement. Something that connects, and we have that technology. It's doable. I don't know why it's not. We don't do it. And maybe they can even relay it to people's police officers' cell phones. You know, so even the people on the ground can see it real time. Who knows? But again, it's just a culture of people aren't willing to give up their life, even for their own loved ones, even for people that they love. You know, which again, I can understand it again, because again, we only have that one life, and you would really have to love somebody more than you love yourself in order for you to do this. And generally speaking, most of us are pretty selfish. Most of us will not bend over backwards for a stranger or even our own family. Even like I said, I ask my family, I ask my friends for the simplest things, and it doesn't even happen. I don't get any likes, I don't get any subscribers, I don't even get any comments. And again, I'm not asking for much, and does it happen? No. So I'm just like, I just move on, and it makes me a little bit more bitter. It makes me think, you know what, I'm gonna do less and less favors for people and it makes me look more like an a-hole, because I start telling people no left and right every time, because I'm so reliable that I get asked for money from a bunch of even though, like I said, I do have a part loan business, but I get asked for non-interest loans for certain people, because it's just such a small amount of money that they want. Like, hey, can I borrow $10? Can I borrow $20? You know, just a small amount. Like, I'm not going to charge any interest on somebody borrowing $10. What am I going to charge them? Like 25 cents a week? It's not even worth it. So I get asked little favors or here and there, and anytime I need something, ghost. It's like, and again, I don't ask for like, I'm pretty self-reliant. I don't ask for much. I ask for like likes, subscribes, maybe watch some videos, but put them in the background. You don't even have to watch them, because again, I need I need so many watch hours so I can become what do you call it? Earn money. You know, to become eligible to earn money, I think it's 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. It's a challenge, and it's probably gonna take me over a year to do this, maybe even a couple of years at the rate that I'm going. But again, just goes to show you that it's love is all talk. These expect this in society that it's almost every person for themselves. Really, kind of sucks. Kind of hate to be a downer, but it is. What would you do? So I'm gonna end this with that. What would you do if this was you? If it wasn't, if you were in law enforcement and this was not, you'd have no family members in there. What would you do? Would you risk your life for a stranger's children? You know, people you don't know. I asked to be honest, like, would you really do this? You know, because again, I've seen people that said they would do stuff, and then when stuff hits the fan, you know. Okay.